Welcome to Digital Scale Modeling. This is part 11 of Trumpeter's German 2cm self-propelled gun, scale 1 to 35. In this part, I'm going to be concentrating on the tail section of the build. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. To start off with, there's some ammo boxes to be made up that go inside the trailer. Now there's around about 12 in total that you can make up here. But I'm not going to be making them all up. My box is going to be completely enclosed, so there's no point in making all these up and then closing it all up. So I will just make up a couple so that you get the gist of what's going on. So I'll make up around 4, and all they are a series of boxes really. So it's 4 sides and the top glued together. And when they're sitting, the inside of the box, which should be made up regardless whether you're having it enclosed or not, just for the support, is the inserts. The middle inserts do have little location points for these. Be careful when you're cleaning up the part. One of them I took the actual location pins out by mistake. That was the one that you just flopped down that you saw when I initially put it in. That was just a slip when I was cleaning them up. Now, these little ammo boxes, they just go on the side here, and they just fit in one against each other until you fill up the area. So it's onto this side panel, and as you can see, I've painted these 79 greyish blue by Revel Aqua Colour. It's only the first coat on. But first of all, I have to make a couple of small little holes in the ends of the panels. These are just to hold the brackets, the hinges that would lift up the lid. But these hinges are in solid state, so you can only have an option of opened or closed. As I said, I'm having mine closed. Once the holes are made, it's just a simple case of putting the side panels onto the base. There is a little line that runs around the base, so it makes it quite easy to build up the walls here. Now, I'm not sure whether there's any added weight needed to be inside this, so just in case, all the little boxes that I haven't made up and just thrown in the compartment before I put the lid on. It's probably not necessary, but just on the other side of caution, I'm just going to put them in there just in case that extra weight is needed. I can then place on the top of the box, and this sits nice and square on the top. There is a little guides running around the edges for it to be guided in. There's a couple of little handles that go on this also. The location points are very small. In fact, the parts are very small, but they're just little grab bar handles that you place on. Next, I'm placing on the toolbar bracket. Has its own little location point for this. It's quite important to get this solidly on because it will be attached to the half track. There's various tools that go on here, and they're all painted in with the bladed part is 75 stone grey, and then the actual handle itself is painted in 77 dust grey, both by Revel Aqua Colour. The reason why I haven't painted them metal or wood, it's just personal choice. I've seen photos where some of them look to be wood, some of them look to be the metal colour or the camouflage colour. So I don't think there's any right or wrong way here. It's just personal choice. And these parts are made up of a spade, an axe and a pickaxe. Those are the 3 main tools. And the pickaxe and axe, they go on the side, and the spade goes on the top. Each have their own location points as well, so they're fairly easy to put in. I'm using Tamiya's XF84 Dark Iron, and these are for little suspension springs that go on the bottom of the box. There's only 2 of them to be placed here. I'm using Life Colours Black Rubber Shiz Tire Black for the tyres now, and I'm just painting around on the tyre part. The central part, the half cap, is the grey colour that I've been using throughout the build, which is the 79 greyish blue by Revel Aqua Colour. And I painted that in first before going on to the actual black for the tyre. Onto the framework of the trailer now. And the first thing I have to do is place on the suspension springs and wheel axles. They're all into one, and the whole unit then gets placed onto the frame. So first of all, the suspension spring goes onto the actual axle itself. This isn't done such a way that there's a little lip left to be held. There's like a little step, I should say, but should be left to go onto the framework and held into a position. The location point for these aren't 100% clear to begin with, but it's a little indentation within the actual bar of plastic itself that the spring and axle fit into. Next to go on are a couple of support beams, but these ones are curved to go around the framework of the frame. They're fairly easy to put on. They just need a little bit of drying time before you move on to the next step. So while they're drying, I'm going to go back to the wheels and place the wheels together. Now these wheels are solid, they're not rubber, but the two halves just sandwiched together. They fit rather well. There's no gapping issues, but sometimes you can get with those wheels. So I can go back to the framework, and here I'm just building up all the little stabilization bars. If you're having this trailer standing on its own, sorry, they should be in the upright down position. So I get a 90-degree angle, but because I'm having mine attached to the trailer, I can have them flat against the framework. The tow bar is next to go on. Now you can have this free moving if you wish, but it is a lot easier just to have it in one solid state. The contact area is quite small, and you would need a tiny amount of cement to secure it if you want it to be free moving. Now that the axles are dry and in position, I can then just push on the wheels. These just simply push on. You don't need cement if you don't want to use it. I put in a tiny little bit, but it's not really necessary. And to finish off the wheels, there's a little end cap that goes off just in the middle. These are quite small, so be careful they don't slip from your tweezers and the carpet monster gets them. It's quite easily done. There's a series of little lights, well not lights, boxes and brackets to go on the framework. The majority of them are too small to show, but each one does have its own location point, and it's quite simple enough to follow. The larger pieces act more as the joints for the box trailer to sit on, so they sit in plates as such. They go in the inner part of the wheel, which I'm placing on now, and they also help lock in the axle and suspension brackets I put on as well. Just gives it that little bit more stability. And as I'm doing this will bring part 11 to an end. I've just got to place on the top box, which is just a matter of just cement and placing it on top. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date, not only with this build, but all my other builds as well, of course. Hit that like button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.